Action to come right across the evening, but right now we can settle back and enjoy live commentary. Leipzig against Celtic with our commentary team of Pat Bonner and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. 100 years on from the birth of Jock Stein, Celtic's greatest manager and the man who led them to glory in this competition. Celtic go looking for their first win of the group stage, and indeed a first ever win in Germany. Standing in the way are RB Leipzig, also without a win, and in fact without a point, so victory is an absolute must for the Germans this evening. The impressive Red Bull Arena is a little short of its 40-odd thousand capacity, but the Celtic fans, as ever, have travelled in good numbers, hoping to see their side build on the points gained in Warsaw last month with a rare away Champions League triumph. The teams are out, they're on the park. You can hear the Champions League anthem in the background. The Celtic fans putting on a spectacle with the flares, which certainly look good. I know that not everyone agrees with them, they're certainly not allowed, but well, it's adds something to the atmosphere. And the RB Leipzig fans have got a big display on away to our left as well. Crackling atmosphere here in the east of Germany is a spectacular sunset away across in the stand opposite us, just behind the sun dips down in this East German evening as the teams go into their team photos ahead of kick-off here. And the referee this evening is Espen Eskas of Norway, 34-year-old whose only previous Celtic game was the 3-1 Europa League win against Rennes back in 2019 at Celtic Park. He is the man officiating this evening, as the two captains, Peter Galacci, the Hungarian goalkeeper of RB Leipzig, and his counterpart Callum McGregor, go through the coin toss and the exchange of pennants as both sets of fans ramp up the noise inside the Red Bull Arena. The smoke billowing across the pitch right now, and we have a perfect vantage point up high in the gods of this wonderful stadium. And as kickoff approaches, we are going to have, prior to kickoff, a minute's silence, which both teams are just gathering around the centre circle to observe. This is to pay respects, as will be done at all UEFA games this week, to the dozens of people who lost their lives so tragically in the stadium disaster last week in Indonesia. The stadium announcer just making the spectators aware of that, and the crowd will be upstanding as everyone in the family of football comes together to remember those who passed away, and really does put this game of football into perspective. It really was an unspeakable tragedy in Indonesia, and everyone coming together to pay their respects to those who lost their lives. Both teams go into a huddle. Celtic in a change, black strip with green stripes, as Callum McGregor gives the teammates a last few words of encouragement, and RB Leipzig in all white break out of their own huddle with Peter Galacci in all yellow heading back to his goal. He was the man who gave away the opener against Shakhtar Donetsk, caught in possession aware of his goal by Marian Shved, the former Celtic man who gleefully stroked the ball home to start that 4-1 victory here, which took, I think, most of European football by surprise. And RB Leipzig, having also been beaten by Real Madrid, looking for their first points. It will be the home side to get us underway. It's Andre Silva, the Portuguese striker, who will kick us off. Christopher Nkunku also inside the centre circle, and it's Silva who rolls the ball back And RB Leipzig going from left to right as we look at it from way up at the back of this main stand in the Red Bull Arena. And Celtic be looking to try and just get a foot on the ball early doors as Callum McGregor does just that, knocks it over the top. One for Dyson, Maida to chase, but just too much on it as Gulacsi comes out and clutches the ball. But positive early opening, and Callum McGregor almost picking out the run of Maida there, Packy.
Yeah, it was initial, obviously press from Celtic and trying to force early on Leipzig into a mistake or two, but he worked it through the press, but eventually came to Callum McGregor fortuitously, and he's hit that lovely diagonal. Just the goalkeeper's in a really good position to come and take it at the edge of the box.
Here's Campbell, good ball forward for Werner. First chance for RB Leipzig to try and split Celtic open. And Nkunku lays it back, chance early on, and Joe Hart gathers inside his 6-yard box before Andre Silva can tuck it home, and that was a real chance in the opening seconds for RB Leipzig to take the lead.
That certainly was, and really good play, and the space opened up for Werner. I thought he actually was going to take it on himself and have a shot, but he elected to try to hit that little diagonal penetrating pass, and I thought he should have done better himself and go and take on the shot, because it opened up, and Joe Hart, gratefully, he fell on the ball.
RB Leipzig showing though their attacking intent. 7 goals without reply in the 2 home games since Marco Rose took over from Domenico Tedesco. Tedesco, the manager, as Leipzig were beaten by Rangers in the semi-final of the Europa League last season. Here comes Simikan, right hand side, another chance, and it's put wide of goal by Nkunku. He claims for the corner, the referee says goal kick. But RB Leipzig showing just how dangerous they're going to be, Packy.
Yeah, they pushed the fullback right on in the right hand side. He out-jumped Greg Taylor, and it broke to him, got into a great position, and it then flashed it across that 6-yard box. But they've set up with almost a 2 right up, and Nkunku's high up alongside Silva, and then they've got the 2 wide, Werner and Zobslai, almost playing in the left inside right channel, and that's allowing the fullbacks then to have that space to get forward.
McGregor and Hatate link up, but Simikan steps in and it breaks back to Greg Taylor. 2.5 minutes on the clock in the Red Bull Arena, and it's 0-0 between RB Leipzig and Celtic. As Stephen Welsh, making his Champions League debut, just rolls the ball back to Joe Hart well out of his penalty area, then plays it to Moritz Jens. Something of a makeshift central defence for Celtic just at the moment, with Cameron Carter-Vickers and Karl Starfelt both out. Here comes Celtic down the right hand side. It's Juranovic able to make a bit of ground down that right hand side, finds Maida. It's a poor touch from Maida, but it does come to Jota just outside the penalty area, left hand side. Waits for Greg Taylor to offer the support. He knocks it back. Hatate, we know he can hit him from here. There's a chance. It's O'Reilly inside the penalty area. Who's that going to break to? Eventually it's stabbed away by an RB Leipzig boot. It's Celtic themselves showing that they can create as Welsh picks up, and now it's McGregor. Positive play from Celtic also in these opening stages, as Jens picks up furthest Celtic player back apart from his goalkeeper. Just knocks it short to Callum McGregor, who does knock it back to Joe Hart just outside his own 18-yard box. Now Jens just play that slightly short for Taylor, who's robbed of possession by Soboslai, the Hungarian, and as Simikan knocks it back to Gulacsi, the Hungarian goalkeeper, just manages to clear before Kyogo closes him down. The clearance falls to Juranovic. Now it's back with Welsh just inside his own half, knocks it forward for O'Reilly on the right hand side. Square ball infield for McGregor. Now out to Maida, and then back once more to O'Reilly, about 10-15 yards inside Leipzig territory. Back to Welsh it goes. Square ball to Jens. He's closed down by Silva. Gets the pass out to the left hand side for Jota. Jota slides it forward looking for the run of Taylor, who's lost his marker. It was Campbell. Now it's Hatate into Kyogo, edge of the box. Forward comes Juranovic in support just on the edge of the penalty area, right hand side. Just had to check his run slightly. Gets it back to O'Reilly though, and then the pass is wayward, and RB Leipzig able to clear up towards Silva. Can't keep the ball. Breaks to Jens, and he goes back to Joe Hart. Good stuff from Celtic though. 5 minutes in and it's goalless.
Yeah, getting into great positions, I've got to say. Well, obviously with the way that Leipzig have set up with the one or just 2 up front, and then the sort of 2 kind of inverted wingers, you've got to say. They're left with two in midfield, and there's big spaces out in the wide areas for Celtic to exploit, whether it's a midfielder that goes out there, whether it's getting it quickly to the wingers in a 1v1 situation. But he got into great positions there, just maybe overdid it at the final ball.
Celtic have it. Welsh out to Juranovic, who's seen plenty of the ball over on that right hand side. Knocks it forward just over the heads of O'Reilly, headed away from the edge of the penalty area by Orban. Celtic have it back though. It's Maida on the right hand side trying to feed it into the penalty area. Breaks away of Guardiol at the back. The Croatian defender gets out to the left hand side. Now for Raum, the German left back, who was bought at great expense, over £23 million in the summer from Hoffenheim.
Wow. That's playing out of the back, playing a ball from left to right across 3 or 4 yards from his goal, missing out the goalkeeper. Confident pass, I've got to say, with Celtic high up on them.
Out of play on this near side. Marco Rosa looks calm down in the touchline. He was in charge of Dortmund last season when Rangers beat them in the Europa League as well, and also in charge of Salzburg when they beat Celtic a couple of times a few seasons back. Campbell's lost it to Jota in a dangerous area. Jota 25 yards from goal, tries to get the shot in. Guardiol's across the cover, and Campbell breathes a sigh of relief as Jota couldn't quite take advantage.
Yeah, it's good pressing, really good pressing. He came almost from outside left in on the blind side and just nipped it off Kevin Campbell, and he really just needed to get a little bit more composure when he got the ball. He just tried to take the shot on when he could have just settled himself, but he did really well in closing down.
Brown back to Guardiol midway inside the RB Leipzig half, back to the goalkeeper Gulaci, one of 3 Hungarians in this RB Leipzig starting 11, and the Hungary national team really have had a renaissance. That's one of the other Hungarians, Szoboszlai, in a good position but giving the ball away, and forward comes Celtic, and it's Juranovic once more leading the attack. Gets it back from Kyogo. Now it's O'Reilly on the halfway line, spins away from Nkunku trying to close down, but McGregor and Juranovic exchange passes. Then Juranovic goes back the way to Welsh in turn back to Hart, who plays it first time out to the left hand side for Jens, who played 7.5 minutes. It's RB Leipzig 0, Celtic 0 on match day 3 in Champions League Group F. Both of these sides really need points from this game. That's a slack pass from Jens, picked up by Campbell. In Szoboszlai, Silva on for Nkunku, surely offside, and out comes Hart with a good save in any case, but it'll be brought back for a foul that was committed as the pass was released. Celtic will have to defend a free kick, but the pass was just a bit wayward for Nkunku. Silva down on the deck. Yeah, but
Celtic give the ball away in midfield, and they got caught then very quickly on the counter attack, Joe Hart did actually really, really well to get to almost read the situation and come out very quickly to intercept it. But of course, it was a free kick before this in a dangerous position. What's that, about 25 yards out?
Yeah.
And just right of centre a little bit. There's a test for Celtic early on.
Yeah, certainly you would think within shooting range. Celtic line up just on the edge of the 18-yard area, so about 28 yards out. This free kick, as it's Raum, the left back, who looks like he might fancy it, left-footed player, just right of centre, as Paki says. It's not Raum though, and it's into the wall. It's a poor hit. I think it was Silva who hit it in the end. It wasn't a good effort. Szoboszlai, I beg your pardon, who struck it straight at the Celtic wall, doing its job, and it's broken all the way back down the other end.
Yeah, it's very important that the wall did.
That's a very risky pass back, and Kyogo almost onto it. Now the keeper's giving it to Jota. The keeper's down, and Hatate can't hit the target. Gulaci's down injured as he tried to clear. Leipzig play on despite the fact their goalkeeper's on the deck. The referee will stop the game, but I mean, he really got away with one there. Hatate just couldn't find the target with a shot from distance.
Well, it was incredible. The first pass back to the goalkeeper was so dangerous with Kyogo closing him down. Then he tries this kind of almost pass, and he gets it all wrong. He injures himself by doing it, but then Hatate
a real injury, do we think? Or is he trying to get the game stopped?
He's had that big mistake a couple of weeks ago against Shakhtar. Whether he's he's trying to play it up a little bit, but certainly the other goalkeeper's getting himself ready in the tunnel, or sorry, in the dugout. So he might be coming on. Whether he's tweaked his knee, but certainly it was two big mistakes from Leipzig. But Hatate should have done better. He should have scored. Oh, he's just twisted his knee a little bit.
I think it's going to have to be replaced. Our reporter in the stadium is Kerdy Nidsan, who I think has had a chance to look at the replay.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of replays, Al, and when he went to play that pass scrambling across his box, it looked like his studs caught in the grass after he passed the ball. He crumpled in a heap. He was grabbing his right knee. He looks like he is in agony. A stretcher's coming on right now. That is going to be it after just 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think what he tried to do is check back onto his goal, because he knew that he had a really bad pass, and his knee gave away with him, and you're right, it caught in the ground, and it looks his day's over. But just going back to the chance, Hatate really should have just settled in the ball. There was nobody near him for within 10-15 yards. He had all the time in the world just to settle on it. He tried to take it first time and he didn't connect, and the goal was wide open for him just to settle and get a strike on the target. I think Celtic would have been 1-0 up.
It should have been. Galacci does actually appear to be injured, so this may have been slightly cynical there, thinking that he was just looking to get the game stopped after he presented Hatate with a golden opportunity. But it does look very much like he's going to be replaced here by substitute keeper Janis Blažević, 31-year-old, signed in the summer from Heracles, and he'll make his 4th appearance of the season. So RB Leipzig forced into an early change, and it's the goalkeeper and captain who is going off in some discomfort, it has to be said. But fortunately for him, he didn't cost his side a goal, which he perhaps should have done. Rio Hatate unable to repeat his strike from the weekend.
Well, there's obviously a substitution goalkeeper coming on. He hasn't much time to warm up and get himself ready, and that's always a cause for concern. So it'll be really interesting to see what experience he's got. Can he play out of the back? Is he a decent goalkeeper? Time will tell. But I don't think Peter Kulaski will be very happy with his fullback also to give him a terrible ball back and put himself under real pressure.
Yeah, it was a poor pass back. Galacci should definitely have done better with the attempted pass.
Just play it wide, even if you're out of goal and you're under pressure. Just play it out for a throw in or something, and just get yourself back into a position where you can defend your goal. You try that pass into midfield.
We're back underway, 13 minutes now on the clock. A good bit of stoppage time as Blažević is between the sticks now instead of Galacci, and Celtic will look to try and test the substitute keeper, put him under a bit of pressure, see what he's made of. As the Welsh picks up at the back for the visitors. Juranovic tries to play it down the right for Celtic. Werner's across there to close him down, as Ange Postecoglou stands arms crossed. Always looks pretty calm. It's very difficult to read, isn't he? But you'll be pretty happy with the way his side have started.
Yeah, I think so. After that first initial fright that he got, too quick almost attacks from Leipzig, and could have maybe scored that opening goal, but they settled into it then and they came back into the game, so he'll be happy with that. And they seem to be in control of what they're doing at the moment.
RB Leipzig have a free kick just inside the Celtic half, taken by Campbell, back the way to Guardiol, international teammate of Juranovic. He feeds it forward looking for Silva. He brings it under control, then left footed, tries to play it into the penalty area. Stephen Welsh is in the way, it comes out to the left hand side, and Raum gets it back to Campbell. Campbell tries to switch play, and it's Simican into the penalty area. Hart goes down inside his 6-yard box and gathers that one well, with Nkunku looking interested. But Celtic survive and immediately come forward on the attack, and it's Juranovic again leading it. Over the halfway line he goes, out to the right hand side further to Maida, tries to come inside Raum, but it's good defending by the international fullback, and he's found Guardiol, who in turn plays it forward for Werner. Poor control there by Silva, but again Leipzig win it back, and it's Silva once more, gets it to Soboslai. He tries to squeeze it through for Nkunku, but Celtic stand firm. Welsh and then Juranovic. Campbell sliding in, and the ball ricochets all the way back to the Celtic goalkeeper. Quarter of an hour in the Red Bull Arena. RB Leipzig 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and that was a terrific, almost diagonal ball from left to right, and the full-back again getting down. Simikin getting down into that area. I think they probably maybe he's a big lad. I think they're maybe trying to target Greg Taylor's lack of height in that position, but he got into a great position and knocked that ball across just close enough to Joe Hart again to collapse on it.
Szoboszlai fouls Taylor on the halfway line. Celtic free kick. As we have another look here at that opportunity, as Simikan knocked it into the 6-yard box, just a yard or two too heavy for Nkunku to get onto, and it remained goalless. And also goalless in Salzburg, where they're playing Dinamo Zagreb in one of the other early kick-off in the Champions League. Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk in this group comes later. Here's Jota for Celtic, in off the left, away from Simikan. He had a couple of really dazzling runs out in Warsaw against Shakhtar, just couldn't find the finish at the end of them. Otherwise Celtic could have been coming away with 3 points from that one, which would have put them in a better position in the group. As it is, they have that solitary point, but they should really have been winning that game. Such was their dominance over Shakhtar. Here they are coming down the right hand side. Good pass from Juranovic for Majdak, just has to wait on it slightly, and back goes Campbell and wins the ball back, the Slovenian international. He's almost given it away. It comes off Guardiol and then out of play over on the far side, the Celtic right, and it will be a throw-in to Ange Postecoglou's side to be taken by Josip Juranovic. Throws it into Jota, who's drifted out there. Back with McGregor now on the right hand side. Hatate, he's lost out to Campbell, and now it's Schlager, the Austrian international. It really is a side packed full of internationals. Here's Simikan coming forward from right back, threads it through. It's Nkunku with a chance, he takes it over Hart, it's going to cross the line, and RB Leipzig are in front. The cutest of finishes from the Frenchman. He took it absolutely beautifully, and it's RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, that man Simikan again breaking down the right hand side, plays a terrific ball. I just thought he might have been offside, and it'll be probably checked. VAR will check it. Did he keep himself on is the question. I'm not so sure. He might have been a foot, but VAR will test. It was a brilliant finish, you've got to say, but again, Simikan breaking into that area, plays that ball into the path of Nkunku, and he flips it over Joe Hart as he spreads himself.
Yeah, he looked on in the replays we've seen so far. It will be checked.
But they're checking it just now.
But it looks like that goal will stand, and Christopher Nkunku will have his 9th goal in just 13 appearances this season. The French attacker who...
No, it's off. It's offside.
To be believed. Oh, it is offside.
Yep. I thought he was a foot or so. Almost. It'll be very, very tight. I've got to say, is right on the line. But again, VAR's played an unbelievable part in the Champions League so far. Last night we've seen unbelievable decisions made from VAR when we thought there was goals scored and then they were chalked off and penalties given. Was quite incredible, and that's another big moment in this game.
Wow, Leo, I must admit, it looked to me like he was on in the replays, but VAR won't have got that one wrong. Marco Rosa and his side thought they had the opener. So did I, but a big let-off for Celtic.
Yeah, it's a big let-off, but Celtic have got to be very, very careful. Obviously they're playing, Jota is on this side here, but every time the fullback gets the ball, he's leaving Jota in his wake and getting forward really, really well, and creating a real problem for Greg Taylor. Oh, the goalkeeper's had a terrible touch, nearly got caught with Kyogo chasing him down in this instance, but he got away with it.
Just Janis Blažević, first involvement really since coming on as an early substitute, and almost having a calamitous error that could have given Celtic the lead just when they thought they'd gone behind. So plenty of early drama here, a goalkeeping substitution and a goal chopped off for Christopher Nkunku, but it just shows you, Paggy, how dangerous he is. And his finish was as deft as they come.
Yeah, listen, he's a quality player. We've known about him. And Celtic obviously playing 2v2 with obviously I'm playing with Silva and Nkunku up front, almost up against Jens and Welch, and then they've got those other almost two players playing almost, as I said, inverted wingers, and that's creating a problem for Greg Taylor, and especially down this left hand side. Do I go on to the inverted winger, or do I hold my position? And then of course Simikin, the right back, is bombing forward every single time, and that's the problem for Celtic at the moment.
Here's Raum back to Guardiola, deep in his own territory. Back to the keeper it goes. Blažević under a bit of pressure, drives that one forwards straight onto the boot of Szoboszlai, who in turn finds Campbell, and now it's Raum coming forward down the left hand side. Back goes Maida, but he plays it forward, and it's Silva out on the left hand side. Early ball in, Joe Hart just leaves that, and it's drifted behind for a goal kick. 21 minutes almost on the clock, and it's RB Leipzig 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Celtic be very happy at this stage that they're not behind in this game, and they'll grow into it. They have grown into it, I've got to say. They've matched Leipzig, especially in those forward areas, but they are vulnerable on that counter-attack, I've got to say.
Yeah, Richard mentioned a stat a bit like this pre-match. RB Leipzig haven't kept a clean sheet at home in the Champions League since Matchday 1 of the 2021 season, conceding an average of 2 at home in the 7 games since. So there's definitely a bit of positivity to be taken from that for Celtic, but they themselves have only once on their travels in the Champions League kept a clean sheet. That was in the 3-0 victory over Anderlecht that Richard also mentioned pre-match. So we should be seeing goals. We've almost had one. It was chopped off for offside, very marginal decision, but Celtic breathing a sigh of relief as Nkunku had his goal wiped out. Forward it goes down the right hand side for Silva. Silva on the halfway line, tracked by Jens. Gets the pass away though to Schlager. Forward it goes to Nkunku. Lays it off for Silva, but it's good backtracking there by Maida to win it back for Celtic. There's a RB Leipzig player down as play continues. It's Schlager in the centre circle who's writhing in agony. Eventually the ball,
there's two down
at play, yeah, and also Simikan's gone down this near side.
Yeah, he's got a dead leg from Maeda, who came all the way across and done really, really well, because it looked as if, again, Leipzig had beaten Celtic on that sort of counter-attack and beat the press, and he came right across to put in a vital tackle.
We've just seen an incredible computer animation of the offside decision, and it showed that Nkunku's knee had just gone ahead of the last Celtic defender, so correctly chopped off. These are semi-automated, these the offside decisions nowadays. They are partly computerised. Forward come RB Leipzig, looking then for that opening goal, and it's Raum on the left hand side. Good cutting ball, and it's a downward header just wide of Joe Hart's left hand post from Szoboszlai. He got in at the near post, glancing header just off target. Celtic 0, RB Leipzig 0.
Szoboszlai, it was one of those, he's made the run across the defenders, across that near post, maybe just a little bit too far beyond the post to be able to direct it on target, but it was a good run, good cross. But it started a way back when Celtic obviously went to try to press it, and they took about 3 or 4 players out.
Kyogo with the header, and good save from Blažević. Closest Celtic have come to a goal. Glancing header at the other end from Kyogo, who's a wry smile as he connected with Maida's cross, and a wonderful effort from the Japanese striker, but Blažević was equal to it to push it away for a corner.
Oh, the goalkeeper's just right in the right spot, actually. He got actually maybe even too much on it. They headed straight at the goalkeeper. If he just got a little nick on it, it might have taken across the goalkeeper in, but it was really good play, good cross from Maeda.
Kyogo with the header. Here's O'Reilly's corner from the right hand side, headed away out of the penalty area. McGregor will go and retrieve it and manages to get it back to Juranovic inside the centre circle. Out to the left it goes to Hatate, who's passed up one big chance for Celtic. They've had 2 or 3 now decent efforts or decent opportunities, haven't been able to convert any, and that's why it's goalless with almost 25 minutes on the clock. Here's a chance for Kyogo, but a cross game. Simikan from right back to mop up and concede another corner, but my goodness, RB Leipzig have been sloppy at the back at times.
They have, really. they're presenting Celtic with 2 or 3 chances. Here's Celtic taking a quick corner.
Yeah, short corner out on the right hand side, laid back to McGregor on the edge. Here's the shot comes in, it's spilled by Blasvich, cleared only partially. Back into the 6-yard box it comes as Celtic try and work the opportunity, and then Jens knocks it well over the crossbar. But glimmers of hope here, certainly for Celtic in an attacking sense, but still the score after 25 minutes remains RB Leipzig 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, they've made chances that time. It was Greg Taylor who had the strike, and the goalkeeper, he didn't look convincing, I've got to say. The goalkeeper, he's gone down and let it parry off his body in a very dangerous position. But there again, Leipzig giving the ball away.
He'll go inside the penalty area on the turn, just wide. Corner
Wow.
kick again, just took a deflection as the volley came in, and Ange Postecoglou holds his head in his hands as his side spurned 3 good opportunities in the space of about 60 seconds.
All mistakes by Leipzig, giving the ball away in their final third.
Jota lays the corner from the left hand side back to Hatate. Hatate square from McGregor, heavy touch,
Oh,
and he's robbed there by Schlager. Schlager stays down, but forward come RB Leipzig on the counter. McGregor trying to get back at his man, and Kunku, can he get there? He's on the edge of the penalty, he's round Joe Hart, he slides it in, and this time it'll stand, surely. And Christopher Nkunku, denied once by the VAR offside, won't be denied this time. In the blink of an eye, the ball was down one end, then the other. RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, listen, that corner worked at the weekend. It didn't work today, and it was a short corner to Hatate, square ball to McGregor, and he was closed down. And then McGregor nearly did the business to get back, and then Kuku really sharp to be in a really good position. Joe Hart had committed himself, hoping that he was going to get there, but couldn't. And what a good finish from a tight angle, but from one end of the pitch to the other, lightning fast on the counter attack. And Celtic's probably own fault, and they had the chances to actually be made at least 2 up in this game. They just couldn't take them again, and now they find themselves at 1 goal down.
And it all comes from a very rare heavy touch from Callum McGregor on the edge of RB Leipzig's box. He then lost out in the 50-50 to Schlager, and the swiftest of counter-attacks leads to Christopher Nkunku's 9th goal of the season. The Frenchman, if reports are to be believed, joining Chelsea in January, and he certainly, if we didn't know already, we know now that he is a player, and he has opened the scoring.
Yeah, it was. Listen, he looks like give him half a chance, and he has got the ability to go and finish and hurt you. But I thought it was actually a poor touch also from Hatate on the edge of the box, and he was forced in to hit that square ball to McGregor. The corner didn't work on this occasion, and it caught them out.
Yeah, and so the home side do have the advantage. What can Celtic provide by way of response? Well, I mean, there was literally 3 very good opportunities in a space of just over a minute, as here's Werner on the left hand side of the penalty, into the side netting with a Celtic player down in the middle of the park.
Yes, McGregor.
Well, I think he hurt himself in that 50-50 that I mentioned, and he's struggling. He's not a player who misses many minutes. He's going to miss the weekend game against St Johnstone because of the red card he was almost forced into.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Yeah, he's in some difficulty there, and this is not a player, Packy, who stays down.
No, absolutely. Courageous player in the middle of the pitch, and a vital player in the middle of the pitch also, getting on the ball, hitting those passes. He was unlucky for that goal, I've got to say. He lost the ball in the edge of the box because it was closed down so quickly, and they broke on him, and he tracked back, and he did brilliantly to try to get back goal side and got his foot to it. It was his pass, almost true, to allow Nkunku to get on the end of it. But now he looks his knees, maybe he twisted his knee.
Yeah, it's his right knee that's getting the attention from the physio at the moment. It's when he went down, the fact that he was beating the ground in frustration. It's a classic sign of a player who knows when he's properly hurt. So Callum McGregor really struggling, and I'm not sure how much magic the physio is going to be able to work, although he is getting to his feet, but he's limping very, very heavily off the pitch at the moment with the physio. And Celtic look down in front of me now, it looks like they're making a change. There is some activity on the bench. Ange Postecoglou having a chat with John Kennedy, and it looks like somebody might be getting stripped down in front of us, but they'll give Callum McGregor every possible chance to get fit.
It'll be interesting if he has to come off, who actually goes into that position. Will it be Abelgard, who they've signed? We don't know much about him, whether he can go and play in that position and do exactly what...
I think that's very much his role. Yeah, James McCarthy would be the other one. Actually, it's really
played
only
James, though. He's been out of things for so.
No, exactly.
So
yeah,
long.
yeah.
This is
Abu Gord's barely played in the last few months either. That's why we've not really seen him in a Celtic jersey so far. But might well.
Sorry to butt in, Al. It does look like Abelgard is the one who's getting stripped. I think down in front. He's just been told to warm up a little bit more quickly. It looks like they do want to make this substitution. So it does look like Abelgard is getting stripped at the moment down in front of us.
Callum McGregor has just jogged back on though, and he looks like he's running relatively freely. So fingers crossed Celtic don't have to make that change, because they do not want to be losing their skipper with the side 1-0 down to Christopher Nkunku's goal a few minutes ago. Forward comes Celtic, it's Maida. He won't keep that one in though down the right hand side. It's a throw into RB Leipzig. 1-0 they lead with just over half an hour played in the Red Bull Arena. And well, both sides have had their opportunities certainly, and it just so happens that Leipzig have been that little bit more clinical. But Celtic, it's something actually that's arisen in the last few weeks. They haven't been quite as deadly in front of goal as perhaps we've been used to under Ange Postecoglou.
No, they've had unbelievable chances in this game so far. Here's another counter-attack from them.
Yeah, Maida trying to get onto the ball forward, but across comes Campbell to make a really important intervention to knock the ball out of play. But again, it was Leipzig giving the ball away. They've definitely been guilty of that in the game so far, presenting Celtic with chances, but so far they haven't been able to take any, and they trail by a goal to nil. But it's Celtic in possession. It's Juranovic back to McGregor, clips that into the penalty area from the right hand side. Does look to be running okay as he has to chase back, and now gets the ball back again from Welsh. Juranovic over on the right hand side, losing out, goes down.
Oh, he's away again. I'll tell you, Celtic are so open at times when if they lose the ball high up the pitch. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 6 players high up, and they're left with 2v2 at the back. And it just looks as, and sometimes even 3, depending on who breaks out of that midfield. And it's they're very open.
It's Juranovic who's down and perhaps requiring, in fact the physios are coming on. He just took a glancing blow with the left elbow of David Brown there as they jostled for possession over in the far touchline, and I think he'll be absolutely fine.
He'll be fine. It just settles the game down a little bit too for them, because, and you know, it's that risk that you take. Do you go and press this team high up? They've seen the rewards from that press high up the pitch, and almost Leipzig giving the ball away at will in their final third, trying to beat the press, and it's almost worked for Celtic, except they haven't put the ball in the net. But when they do get done on that sort of, can almost play through them, then they're very open at the back themselves.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Juranovic still down actually. It didn't look like there was too much in the way of contact, but he's clearly felt the pain of the sharpness of the elbow almost from Raum, and the Croatian still has a bit of a cut. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So the physios and doctor having to possibly stitch that up or put a bandage on it at the very least. We're played 33.5 minutes here in the Red Bull Arena, being 2 or 3 fairly lengthy stoppages now, so there will be lots of added time. Callum McGregor's made a stern stuff. He looked like he was finished in the game, and he's now back and seems to be absolutely fine.
Well, he's walking around, whether he's 100% or not, you're not sure. He'll get to half time, I would say, and then they'll readdress. He's going to be suspended a weekend also, so he can afford, maybe if he's not too bad, just to get through this. He's a vital player for them, of course, and especially the way that they play, and they want to get that ball forward nice and quickly. He's got that ability to do it from that sort of almost holding midfield position. but they'll be so disappointed that they've lost a goal after doing well in the game and making. I can't say maybe they made the chances themselves. It was probably down to Leipzig giving them the opportunities, but they should have a little bit more composure. They would have scored at least one, if not two.
I mean, there was the Hatate chance that was gifted to him by Galacci, which he couldn't hit the target, and then there was a 3 in quick succession just prior to the RB Leipzig goal, where Kyogo has a header, which is a good save, to be fair. Then Taylor has a shot saved, and then Kyogo's volley was deflected just wide. So Celtic making the opportunities and just not able to convert them so far. 10 minutes to the break. Juranovic is now sitting back up. Looks to be fine after getting that cut attended to. He'll have to come off the pitch. Just been checked for any concussion or anything, but it doesn't appear that is the case. So the game will be restarted. It's not even a free kick, it's just a drop ball. RB Leipzig given possession back, and we're back underway, and Celtic back to the full complement as Juranovic returns to the fray. 1-0 RB Leipzig leads. Rangers beaten 2-0 down at Anfield last night. Can Celtic turn this one around and get some points on the board? A much needed win would be the ideal scenario.
A draw, you would take a draw.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially going into the 2 home games that are coming up against RB Leipzig next Tuesday at Celtic Park, and then at the end of October it's Shakhtar Donetsk who are the visitors. And those 2 are games that Celtic would absolutely have to win, you'd imagine, if they are to retain any hope of carrying on in this competition. As another player down, this time it's Jota, and it's actually Marco Rosa who almost got the referee's attention to stop the game this time. He's back on his feet.
Yeah, there's not much. I think he just got pulled by the head, really, in his face, and there was no elbow. It was just kind of almost.
Yeah, he just runs into Soberslide, doesn't he?
Yeah, there was not much in it.
So, throw in. Well, we are going to get a change actually. McGregor's gone back down. That is a blow, and Abiogor is going to come on. And it is the Celtic captain, Callum McGregor, for the 2nd game in a row. His game is cut short for different reasons. This one because of an injury. It appeared that it was sustained in the 50-50 where he lost possession at the edge of the RB Leipzig box, and it led to the opening goal. Off comes Callum McGregor, and on goes Oliver Abiogor, the Dane, recently brought in from Rubin Kazan. And well, it's a tough position for him to come into. 1-0 down away as Joe Hart has to deal with the back pass, gets it out to Greg Taylor down the left hand side. Now it's Hatate under pressure from Schlager, and he's given it away to Soboslai, who gets it back into Schlager. Now there's opportunity for Silva at the edge of the box. Abiogor and Welsh combining at the edge of the penalty area to block that one. It was a good bit of defending in the end from Celtic after Hatate had put them under pressure. And RB Leipzig threatening a 2nd goal, which Celtic will be very, very keen to avoid. Here comes Sloboslai down the right hand side, clips it into the penalty area. Welsh with the header away, picked up by Schlager. That's a lovely bit of skill from him. Then he knocks out to the left hand side for Raum. He's got Werner in support, tries to play the cross in, comes off Juranovic, and it's out for a throw and over on the far side to Leipzig. 7 minutes of the 45 remaining, but there will be, I would guess, at least 5 minutes of added on time at the end of this first period because of all the various stoppages. 1-0 RB Leipzig leads in this Champions League 3rd group match for Celtic. Back it goes to Blaswich, the substitute keeper for the Germans. Forward it comes down the right hand side. Soboslai can't get anything on it, and it's knocked forward again by Jens. Out of play of Willi Orban, the Hungarian centre back, and it will be a Celtic throw-in to be taken by Greg Taylor. Both sides forced into unwanted substitutions in this first half. In fact, both the captains, now I come to think of it. Peter Gulacsi for RB Leipzig, and just a couple of minutes ago Callum McGregor, the talismanic skipper of Celtic, forced off with an injury. Here come Leipzig, and it's Werner coming across to the right hand side, crossing the halfway line. Good challenge by O'Reilly, tracking back there, wins it back for Celtic, exchanges passes with Taylor, then has to go all the way back to Joe Hart just outside his 6-yard box on the left hand side.
Yeah, it was an important challenge, that just as Werner was going to play that penetrating pass, he just took it off his toe and kill that move. It was important that all of the players work extremely hard in that part of the game, that defensive.
Here is Greg Taylor just inside his own half, plays it forward for Jota, who's been pretty quiet actually in this first period, gets it to O'Reilly. Now Taylor once more just inside the RB Leipzig half. Back it goes to Jens, square ball just inside Celtic territory for Welsh. Now down the right goes Juranovic, bustling forward in for Kyogo, might come to Hatate at the edge. Good challenge in there by Schlager to rob the Japanese midfielder, and RB Leipzig emerge with possession, and it's Campbell feeding it forward looking for Silva. Silva doing really well to hold on to possession. There are 2 or 3 Celtic players around him. Now it's Nkunku, the goal scorer, waving Simikan forward on the right hand side. It is out to Simikan, right hand side of the penalty area. Looks up, not too much in the penalty area for him to aim at. He holds the ball up. Celtic get numbers back as well as Leipzig getting numbers forward. Simikan eventually just rolls it back to Schlager. Infield for Campbell, the 2 blonde-haired midfielders exchanging passes. Now it's Sloboslai out to Simikan, right hand side in an advanced area. The cross comes of a Celtic player into the arms of Joe Hart. 40 minutes played, RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I just noticed a couple of moments ago that when Stephen Welsh got the ball, really good pass out to Juranovic, in front of Juranovic, so that he can take it in his first touch, and he's striding forward and he put a good cross in. So young Stevens maybe picked up on that he has to get that ball away nice and sharp off his first touch, which is good to see.
Here's his central defensive partner Jens for Taylor. Infield it goes to Abiel Gore, just his second Celtic appearance, made his debut late on against Motherwell, as Jota picks up on the left hand side. A little step over away from Simikan, good ball in. Kyogo with a header onto the roof of the net. A really good effort from the Japanese striker, managing to get brilliant power in the header when he was going back the way away from goal, but he just couldn't get it on target, and it remains Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and he also had Matt O'Reilly coming in, bombing into the box just behind him, and possibly maybe if he let it go or he got a shout, I think O'Reilly might have been in a better position to get a good header downward on target. That one was always struggling to get it on the target and just lift it over the crossbar from Kyogo. But good play from Jota also, just we step over, creating a little bit of space for himself, getting past the full-back Simikan and putting a really good cross in.
Here's Schlager in the middle of the park for Leipzig. Soboslai beaten in the jump there by Abiel Gore. Forward from Hatate down the left-hand side. Kyogo gives chase, but Orban is there. Orban, beg your pardon, for Leipzig, and gets it back to his keeper, who plays it in turn to Guardiol, a young Croatian centre-back. Sweeps it out to the near side to Simikan, who's looked impressive. Got a brief equaliser against Shakhtar here on Matchday 1, but they were soon behind again. Of course, ended up 4-1, which still baffles me, I have to say, having seen both sides now. Shakhtar,
I think it was a one-off. Honestly, the
absolutely.
goals that they lost, the first goal especially, the goalkeeper made a real big mistake, and he was way out of goal, and it was an easy first goal. And then the second one was 2 deflections, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From Sved, our ex-player.
Yeah, something of an anomaly, I think we'll call that result. But Leipzig leading Celtic here by a goal to nil. A couple of minutes left of the 45. We'll see very shortly how much there is by way of added on time to be played. RB Leipzig leading by 1-0. The goal scored 27 minutes in by Christopher Nkunku, the French forward, who had just a little bit earlier on had a goal chopped off for a very marginal offside, but offside indeed it was. Nkunku for Werner, big chance for the second, great save, Joe Hart with the right leg. The offside flag is up now in any case, but Joe Hart certainly didn't know that, as he spread himself brilliantly to deny Werner.
Yeah, it was a good save, but he was offside. But I just looked at Werner, he just came away in from the left, just drifted across and ended up getting, it was a great, lovely little touch from Silva to put him in.
I think Celtic are lucky there. I think Juranovic was playing him onside, but the linesman's flag had already gone up.
So we'll put it down to a good save from Joe Hart.
We'll call that a good save, it certainly was, regardless of whether it was offside or not. Silva's down off the ball at the moment. Play continues down the left hand side. RB Leipzig pondering whether to put a ball out of play. Eventually Werner just stops as the referee has whistled, and going to get another stoppage here for an injury, and it's Andre Silva this time, who's been barged into actually by Jens. That was a bit naughty from Jens off the ball.
Yeah, just wonder whether Bodycullen will pick up on that VAR.
The VAR, yeah.
You know, because that was right off the ball. He's cleared the ball and he's gone right into the back of him with his elbow. So I just wonder whether, I don't think the referee is going to maybe call on VAR this time. So he's been lucky, Jens.
Silva still down, the Portuguese striker. Eventually, he won't need treatment, just help to his feet. And Jens getting away with one, it appears. It was a little bit unnecessary. Now offering something of an apology, I think, to Silva. 6 minutes to be added on, and RB Leipzig leading by a goal to nil. Deserving of that one goal lead, would you say, at this stage, Packy?
I don't think so. I think it's been very even. I think both teams have shown their qualities in the final third, that's for sure. You know, Celtic had the big moments given to them by very slack passing, I've got to say, from Leipzig, but no composure to finish off, and then Leipzig hitting Celtic on the counter-attack, and really in that final third they look dangerous also.
Here they come once more. It's Soboslai, just shows too much of that to Jens. Overhit it, and he's furious with himself, the Hungarian winger, as Jens is able to clear out a play for a throw-in on this near side. But into injury time, it's RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's important that Celtic get in now. You know, at least one, after one down, at least go in and then kind of almost settle themselves down and put in a really good effort in the second half.
Forward up to the halfway line, possessions won by Abiel Gore for Celtic, and then does so on a second occasion, but it breaks for Nkunku. Infield from Soboslai to Werner. Werner looking for Silva. Welsh trying to get back at him, edge of the penalty area. Silva trying to get onto the right foot, does find room for the shot, but it's a tame one into the arms of Joe Hart. And with a minute and a half of injury time played, actually there's going to be 7 minutes of injury time. The referees are a change of heart, and Joe Hart collects, and it remains RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
You can see how dangerous they are in those spaces. Obviously Juranovic is, you know, pushing himself forward, and most occasions when Celtic get the ball and there's huge space down the side and in the right back position, they exploit it really quickly. And it's a difficult one for Stephen Welsh. He's almost at times then having to get across there, and in a 2v1 situation, do I show him on the outside, do I let him come on the inside and get that shot away? But it wasn't a particularly difficult shot for Joe Hart to deal with.
Here's Juranovic as Celtic come forward down the right hand side, deep into stoppage time. Abiel Gore about midway inside the RB Leipzig half, but the pass wasn't a good one, and here they come on the counter again, the Germans, and it's led by Silva. Out to the right hand side it comes. Soboslai, edge of the penalty, it goes for goal, and he's well blocked by Greg Taylor at the expense of a corner. Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and that's the difference, I'm afraid, when Callum McGregor's sitting in that role. He's the one that can hit that pass, and he's almost the defensive player that's kind of almost building the game. That time Abigard tried to almost play a pass and then follow his pass, and they were wide open again for the counter-attack.
First corner of the game for the home side, to be taken by Soboslai from the Leipzig right. Celtic desperate not to concede another goal before half-time. They managed to get the corner clear, and now they come on the counter, and it's Juranovic to Jota on the right-hand side. Trying to get away from Campbell. Forward he comes up towards the edge of the penalty, the angle on the right. It's a decent ball in, but it's behind Kyogo, and it's calmly headed back to his goalkeeper by Timo Werner, who's back doing a bit of defending, and he gets it back from his keeper. We've played 3.5 minutes of the 7 to be added on at the end of this first half, and it's still Leipzig 1, Celtic 0. Werner has it on the right, back to Simican it goes. Midway inside his own half, Leipzig just slowing things down. Played square by Orban to Guardiol, and back to Orban once more. Out to Simican on the right hand side, infield to Schlager, then out to Soboslai. Can't get away from Greg Taylor, who made an important block from Soboslai just a couple of minutes ago to ensure there was no second goal before half time for Leipzig. Simican with the throw in, gets it back from Soboslai, closed down by O'Reilly. He gives the ball away to Abiel Gore, and then Taylor for Jens, and now Stephen Welsh, who's largely acquitted himself pretty well this evening alongside Jens. Taylor once more down the left hand side. It goes for O'Reilly, forced back the way by Simican. Good challenge by Simican. Throw into Celtic just inside their own half. 4.5 minutes of stoppage time played. Celtic trail by a Christopher Nkunku goal to nil. Well taken, and he really does look the part, and you would have to say that if he does go to Chelsea, you would think he'd be a pretty good addition. Here's Welsh out to the right hand side for Juranovic, just crossing the halfway line. Forward he comes, round, back pedalling up towards the edge of the penalty he comes. Decent ball in, Kyogo again attacking it. Orban does enough, and actually it came off Kyogo last, reckons the referee, and he's awarded the goal kick rather than the corner that Kyogo was looking for.
I thought it was a corner. I thought the defender got enough on that ball. It was almost like a 50-50 one between the two, but the defender got enough on it to deflect it away out towards a corner flag. I thought it was a corner, and it would have been maybe a chance for Celtic right at the end of this first half to get back into this game.
Blasvich clears from inside his own 6-yard box. Abigor heads forwards, picked up though by Leipzig. It's Werner. Raum had made a really good run out on the left hand side. Eventually the ball will be worked out towards him by Schlager, but Juranovic by that time had read the danger and gets back to head it out of play, and it will be a throw-in to RB Leipzig. There's still just over a minute of stoppage time to play. RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0 in the Champions League. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland on Sounds, on 810 Medium Wave on digital and online. Here is Soboslai. Infield it goes for the goal scorer Nkunku. Backrush Schlager. Infield to Werner on the edge of the centre circle. It's Campbell out to the left hand side for Raum. Perhaps one more opportunity at the end of this first period. It's Raum once more, gets it back from Silva. His cross is half cut out, then Welsh heads away. Joe Hart wanted to come and claim it as well, but it's out for a throw in on the far side. Last few seconds then of the first period. Werner back to Campbell. Campbell flights into the penalty, back post. Simican heads it down. Hatate's there before Nkunku and just lashes it forward over the halfway line to safety. And out of his goal will come Blasvich to just play it short to Guardiol. Campbell once more picks up, the Slovenian at the heart of most things in the midfield for RB Leipzig. And Guardiol knocks it back to his keeper. Kyogo will go and close down. Blasvich still gets the short pass away to Schlager, not fazed by some of the early pressure he came under. There's the referee's half-time whistle. Really entertaining first half, but Celtic go in behind and they had their chances. Hatate had a big one after 10 minutes, gifted an opportunity by Peter Galacci, who went down injured in the process, but Hatate unable to lift the ball over him and hit the target, and that was Celtic's first big chance of the game. They had 2 or 3 others before Leipzig scored. Kyogo had a header well saved. Greg Taylor also had a shot saved, and then Kyogo volleyed just wide. It was deflected on its way, and that was just before Christopher Nkunku pounced on the counter-attack. Callum McGregor with a heavy touch on the edge of the RB Leipzig box as Celtic tried to execute a corner kick routine. It didn't come off. RB Leipzig broke upfield, and Nkunku broke the offside trap as he had failed to do just a few minutes ago. Had a 1 goal chopped off. Second one counted as he rounded Joe Hart to slide in. Kyogo's had a header just over onto the roof of the net a few minutes before the break, but Celtic have lost their skipper Callum McGregor to injury, and the hosts have lost their captain as well. Peter Galacci, the goalkeeper, replaced in the early stages, but the crucial fact at half time is that RB Leipzig have the advantage. It's RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 0.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute. BBC Radio Scotland is following Celtic and Rangers in the Champions League.
Hatate across goal, must be, it is! McGregor saves again!
And Heart of Midlothian in the Europa Conference League.
Right-footed, high and into the top right corner. Hearts score in Riga.
Coverage continues with Hearts versus Fiorentina.
The top team, let's be honest, at Fiorentina. And also we need to make sure we are at it 100%. But we're looking forward to it.
Tomorrow night from 7 on digital radio at BBC Sports Scotland, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
And prior to that, there's Sports Sound on the Road coming live from Perth High School. You can still get tickets for that event. Go to the BBC Scotland website. Also up for grabs tomorrow night, the crucial qualifier, the playoff between Scotland, the women's national team, and Austria, with highlights of that on Sportscene tomorrow night at 10:30. And then Sportscene live on Friday night, Cali Thistle against Partick Thistle. Big game in the Championship. Right. Well, we eventually got to half-time. I know, I mean, he's right. I mean, I was saying that it's an entertaining first half. It's also the longest first half. It just felt like it was dragging on forever, Jim Duffy in here. But my goodness, plenty of talking points during the course of the 53 minutes eventually that were played.
Yeah, well, obviously it was broken up with the injuries to goalkeeper Galaski, and then obviously Cal McGregor, Juranovic. You know, there was so many breaks in play there that maybe did break the rhythm. I think, and particularly in the last 10 minutes of the first half. But certainly the first 35 minutes was a very open contest. Yeah. As Al had said, in commentary there, Celtic had plenty of opportunities, but a little bit unlucky. I think particularly with the Kyogo's shot that was deflected, because I think that was the one. He was a fraction away, and he hit it early enough and hit it well enough. The little flick header that the keeper saved, I think, was very unlucky. Good movement from him. But as the guy said in commentary, I think that the Hatate one, I think was Pat was saying, he's just got to take an extra touch and show him. He's a terrific striker. The ball, we saw that.
We should say, so if people won't have seen it if they're listening in to us, but Glatzy, he just makes a complete hash of the clearance. Yeah. He then somehow manages to buckle his knee in the process, so he falls over. Yeah. He's away across on the right side of the box. There is a defender lurking, but he's a long way out from goal as well. And Hatate's, 35 yards out. He's got all the time in the world to take a touch, to size it all up. Yeah, I mean, for a player of that quality, you expect him to show a bit more composure and awareness. The goalkeeper's on the deck. The ball comes to him. As I said, he's a terrific technician. It's not as if he's not capable of striking the ball from that area, but he just rushes it and scuffs the ball, and it trundles back to the covering defender. And to me, that was a fantastic opportunity very early on in the match, which could have put Celtic in a really strong point in the game. But we've saw time and time again, you don't take those chances, you get punished, Richard. Yeah. And in Kunku, to start with, had a goal chalked off, a fraction offside. I don't really know where Stephen Welsh was in the build-up. Celtic were very, very high. The ball was played through. He's run through in goal. Terrific composure. Just dinks over Joe Hart. But fortunately for Celtic, VAR intervened and the goal was denied. But and then a flurry of Celtic chances. Yeah, Celtic again, chances. As we saw, Greg Taylor with a strike, keeper spilled it, and it just went behind Kyogo as he was running in. I think that, as I said, they had other opportunities, with shots and peppered the goal with a little spell. And then they had a corner which led, strangely enough, Celtic's corner led up to the goal from RB Leipzig. And these are the areas we spoke about before the game. If you take the corner again through sequence, Jota takes it, plays it short to Hatate. Hatate then tries to play it square to Callum McGregor. So Hatate's your midfielder, McGregor's your midfielder, O'Reilly's in the box, your other midfielder. Callum McGregor takes a bad touch. He has a block tackle on the edge of the box, and from there they spring a fantastic counter-attack. But at one stage it was 4v2. Now you're away from home, 4v2. Leipzig are. To me, that's where they need a guy with a defensive set who say, listen, see if we score, fantastic. See if we don't, I'm breaking up the play. I'm body checking someone. I'm breaking the play. I'm taking a professional foul. But like McGregor did at the weekend. Yeah, exactly. But Celtic had no covering midfielder. So when Leipzig were breaking at pace, as I said, they've got a 4v2 situation, and they timed it to perfection this time. And scores a goal then. Inuku scores a goal. Again, terrific finish, because round Joe Hart slots, and he's an excellent player. But Celtic were completely exposed, and I think they get caught up thinking we can score here. And that's the reason why I'm saying before that's happened 2 or 3 times in the Champions League to them. They have to
they have to find a way of just battening down the hatches at times, particularly when they're on the attack and when they're on the ascendancy.
Well, I mean, it is, and we've seen it. It's not by no means just Celtic, but when a team has a corner and then within 15 seconds has lost a goal at the other end. I mean, it's astonishing.
But
isn't it?
that's the quality of the opposition and the way that they will take advantage, because they have real quality at the top end of the pitch that can punish you. And I say, for me, those are still the little things that Celtic have to learn. We heard Ange Postecoglou talking about it. We heard Callum McGregor talking about it. But you have to learn from previous situations. And I think in that situation, for me, that was an obvious one. Have someone sitting 35, 40 yards right in the middle of the pitch who just breaks the play up. That's his job, to break the play up and to spoil any counter-attack.
Yeah, and incidentally, the goal that was disallowed for Nkunku, now they're using this new VAR kind of graphics and almost artificial intelligence, it looks like. I mean, they're pretty impressive. I mean, it's a toenail that he's offside. Clearly, had it not been for VAR, that goal absolutely would have stood, because it was so marginal. Celtic got the benefit there. Then, of course, they lose the goal. And not only did they lose the goal in that move, but they lose Callum McGregor as well, who's made, just to emphasise the point you were making, he's made the block tackle deep inside the Leipzig half. And he's actually the player who then has to get up and almost gets to the Leipzig player before it's passed through for Nkunku.
Yeah, listen, Callum McGregor's a magnificent player and he's been outstanding for Celtic. But, he goes in for a block tackle, and I think that's what's done it. But the fact is that the play didn't stop. It ricocheted, in behind Callum, and he's then decided to chase someone back. Now, there's a couple of things. One, when your adrenaline's going, you maybe not feel it 100%. And two, you're running in a straight line. So again, your knee doesn't feel quite as bad. It's as soon as you turn or twist, and in Callum's case he tried it, and then he had a cross with his left foot, which again, when you put your weight on your standing leg, you probably feel it. But at that 10-12 second instance where he's chasing back, he's probably not feeling it. But as I said, to me, he shouldn't have to chase back pretty much the whole length of the pitch. Someone should be coming across to break the play up, and that's where I feel there was the crucial error from Celtic's point of view.
I think we've seen why Leipzig have had just one clean sheet in the last 15 Champions League matches. So Celtic have got to still have hope, given the chances they've created there.
Definitely.
But the issue is that, would you bet on that? I know you wouldn't bet anyway. But if you had £5 worth of Chick Young's money, would you put it on Celtic getting through the next 45 minutes without conceding again?
Yeah, well, again, listen, they've got to take some element of risk just now because they're 1-0 down. And I think if you look at the overall game, Celtic is a decent chances. Yeah. And they when they have managed to put pressure on them in that final third, they do look a bit nervy. They have made basic errors. They've given the ball away. They've made errors. They're not Real Madrid in that situation where they've looked composed playing out. So I think Celtic tactically can do that. Obviously, Abelgard is coming on now, and his job will be to sit. So if he is a little bit more defensive minded than Callum, that might allow them to get that press without having the concern if they play out the press that they can expose Celtic. So that might be a little bit of a change in terms of how they do it. But Celtic have definitely got the opportunity to score a goal. They do not look secure in that situation. They have had a number of chances, 3 or 4 really good opportunities to score, and away from home in Europe you'd expect to take one of them. As I said, they had chances against Real Madrid and didn't take them. They had numerous chances against Shakhtar, only took one. So they have to be more clinical at this level, Richard, because if not, what happens is, players like in Nkunku go there and they exploit any weakness that you have.
I guess what we're seeing right now is Celtic are being tested, Ange Postecoglou being tested, and it's a little spell the like of which he hasn't really had to contend with. The defeat to St Mirren, the narrow victory against Motherwell, trailing here 1 point from the first couple of matches, just needs to kind of settle the ship and get them going again.
Yeah, again, listen, I don't think all the players are playing in top form. I think Kyogo's movement's been terrific. As I said, he's been unlucky not to score, but he's not been at his brilliant best. I think Jota's had one Really good run in the left-hand side where he played it. Just went behind Kyogo with a little flick header, landed on top of the net. But you need to maybe try and get Jota involved in the play a little bit more. Maeda again had one cross, as we spoke about Kyogo's header. The keeper had a decent save to it. So that they're not playing at their brilliant best. Hatate, I think, is still for me, just plays in little fits and starts. Got to demand the ball a little bit more, be a little bit more involved in the game. And as we mentioned, the two centre backs, they've been very high, and that's allowed, I think in the first 90 seconds, I think, Leipzig had two chances. And again, that's understandable when you're playing with a new partnership, a relatively new partnership. They've got a little bit better as the games went on. So listen, it's been an open game. Ange Postecoglou said that both teams have got a similar sort of style. They both go for it. They're both aggressive in their press. So it's been an entertaining game. Plenty of goalmouth incidents in both boxes. If it wasn't, a Scottish team playing a German team, we'd think this is a great game. But we're obviously a little bit biased. We want the Scottish team to do well, and I think Celtic definitely have a goal in them, but they have to lock the back door.
Well, let's hope that's indeed what they do in the second 45 minutes. The other early kick-off is Salzburg 0, Dinamo Zagreb 0. That's in Group E, the same group in which Chelsea and Milan will be going head-to-head from 8 o'clock. A reminder that we've got live Premiership action this evening, as well as the Champions League. It's Kilmarnock against St Johnstone. You'll be able to... Well, you'll certainly get the first half live online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. We'll have the second half live here on the radio. And we'll keep you across the events of the evening during the first 45 minutes as we round things up from Leipzig. We'll join in on the news conference and hear what Ange Postecoglou makes of it. And of course, we wait to find out what the story will be by the end of the 90 minutes. Right now it is the home side, the German side, Leipzig, who have that 1-0 advantage given them by Christopher Nkunku. But there have been so many opportunities in the game, both for Leipzig and for Celtic. Big chances. Both sides forced into making one substitution because of injury in the first half, with Abelgord replacing McGregor for Celtic. The teams are back out. Live second half commentary with Pat Bonner and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Richards. Well, Celtic still well in this game, as we've been discussing at half-time. They just need to take some of these opportunities that they are creating, or actually being gifted at times by RB Leipzig, who are very open but also very, very dangerous in attack themselves. So we would expect goals, I think, in this second period. Celtic prepare to kick us off, and it'll be Matt O'Reilly to do just that. Very late in kicking off after that lengthy spell of injury time at the end of the first half, but Matt O'Reilly does get us back underway. No further changes to those that took place in the first half for either side. Peter Galacci, the Leipzig keeper, being replaced after 10 minutes by the German Janis Blažević, and then Callum McGregor, as has been discussed, unfortunately having to go off, and on has come Oliver Abelgård, the Dane. And Leipzig have it on the left-hand side as they look to try and at least hold on to this advantage and get their first points on the board. But you would imagine they'll have some more opportunities as the second half progresses. Here's Guardiol midway inside his own half, plays it down the left-hand side for Raum. Back goes Maeda, trying to shut him down. Jens is in the way of the pass from Raum, and the ball breaks across to the left-hand side for Greg Taylor. Plays it early forward, looking for Kyogo, but chested down in composed fashion by Guardiol, the Croatian, and the shot ball then for Schlager, another summer signing from Salzburg, in fact, as Rome plays a short ball. It's a dummy at the edge of the box by Szoboszlai, who might have been better served if he'd actually collected possession there and maybe got the shot away. As it is, Celtic managed to clear only as far as Campbell, and it's back with Raum on the left-hand side. Ball comes in, Welsh heads it away. Maeda then nods it down to Juranovic. He's closed down by Szoboszlai, but Abelgård is there to pick up the loose ball, and Juranovic gets it back to Welsh inside his own penalty area. He knocks it clear down the right-hand side, out for a throw-in just in the early stages of the second half. RB Leipzig 1,
Celtic 0. No discernible change in terms of the way either side are approaching the game. As Hatate picks up, it's a lovely ball for Kyogo. Kyogo about 30 yards from goal. Jota's in. Jota for the equaliser. It's there! Jota on the mark, and Celtic are level. A wonderful bit of attacking play. Kyogo picks out Jota and he slots it home. RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 1.
Well, again, giving the ball away in a really dangerous position, Leipzig, and Celtic this time capitalising on it perfectly. And Kyogo, when he picks up the ball, I thought he was going to pass it early, and he didn't. He went on and dragged the goalkeeper almost to his near post, and then the simple ball across the goal, across the box, I've got to say, for Jota to pick his spot in the corner as the goalkeeper comes across, and he puts it across him beautifully into the back post to give Celtic an incredible start at the second half. One each, all to play for.
Yeah, it's a brilliant finish from Jota for his 5th goal of the season. It's a wonderful move. Hatate with the first pass forward for Kyogo after it was given away in the middle of the park. And at last, Leipzig are punished for slack passing in the midfield. And it's Jota who, with the left foot, wrong foots the goalkeeper and draws Celtic level with their first attack in the second half. And it's a brilliant start to the second period. Just what Ange Postecoglou would have hoped for.
Well, it's incredible to think that the team has gone in a half time, and I'm sure the head coach, Marcos Rose, has mentioned to him, don't put the ball at risk in silly situations, and they did exactly that and give Celtic the big opening, big chance. This time they had the composure with Kyogo and Jota to get that vital goal. Incredible.
The Celtic fans across on the far side from where we are jubilant as they come forward once more, this time through Maida down the right hand side. Campbell's trying to stay with him. In fact, he's won the ball, and Kunku's back there helping out the defence as well. He plays it to Raum, and Kunku's goal cancelled out then by Jota. Kyogo's ball, he timed it perfectly, didn't he, Baggy? You were saying he thought he was going to play it earlier, but he couldn't have timed it any better, the pass. It just exposed the defence, and Jota did the rest.
Absolutely, he did exactly the right thing. Just hold on to it a little bit, just drive into the box, force players to come to him, and then create the space for Jota on the opposite side, and then just a nice pick out pass. But the finish from Jota also was excellent. Knew exactly what he was doing just as the goalkeeper's checking across.
Here's Raum into the penalty area, away by Welsh. Maida can't quite collect it, so Campbell is there and gets it to Soboslai, about 35 yards from goal. Now it's Silva, reverse pass looking for Nkunku, but Jens is there to play it out for a throw-in as Leipzig try to respond. Marco Rose trying to get the crowd going as well, but they're a little bit subdued right now, having been pegged back, and it's Raum on the left hand side. Into the penalty area it comes, headed away by Welsh, and then Raum takes a poor touch and it's out for a throw into Celtic, and it's all going rather well for Celtic at the start of this second half. 1-1.
Yes, it's almost two teams very similar in many ways, that they are very good in the final third, but they're vulnerable defensively, and both of them are going kind of almost all out attack. Now obviously there's different shapes to the team slightly, and that creates its own issues for each team. How do they deal with it? But certainly it's chances galore in this game. It's an incredible open game too, from a Champions League point of view.
Well, Celtic got a point on the road last time out, should have been 3 probably, but they haven't collected many points on their travels in the Champions League, but 1 to take away from tonight would be a terrific outcome. However, there is a long way to go, but they can have hope now that they are the ones who potentially could come away with a victory, as Maida took a heavy dunt there. He's back on his feet as Celtic get it back to Jens just inside his own half. Plays it for Welsh, first time back to Joe Hart under a bit of pressure from Werner. Hart gets it back out to Jens. He's able to come forward up towards the halfway line, looking for the pass to Taylor. It's a slack ball though, and Taylor's dispossessed, and here come Leipzig. It's Werner working hard though to win it back. Was Abil Gore, knocks it out on the far side for the throw-in. But again, Celtic doing what Leipzig did, giving the ball away in a dangerous area. They weren't made to pay on that occasion.
They weren't, but again, danger. It's so important when the centre halves get the ball. If they're going to pass it, don't pass a straight ball that's going to be cut out, and then you're in real trouble. You're either going to pass it wide to the wide player or play it down the channel, but don't put it at risk, and you're out of position, and then you're floundering. And that's I think that's the lesson you've got to take out of this game from both teams actually.
52 minutes in, RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 1. Jota with the equaliser early in this second half, and Celtic really back in business. RB Leipzig throwing though on the right hand side, just inside the Celtic half. This is Schlager powering forward. In steps Taylor though, good challenge, and he knocks it forward. Simikan though plays it back into Celtic territory as Leipzig look to regain the lead. Schlager and Jota battling it out. Jota comes out on top. Now it's Hatate midway inside his own half. Tries the diagonal looking for Kyogo, but doesn't find it, and Raum steps in and he's away from Maida and up towards the edge of the penalty. And now it's Soboslai on the left hand side on the angle of the box. Wanted the 1-2 there from Campbell, but in stepped O'Reilly, and it's a yellow card for Campbell for pulling O'Reilly back.
Yeah, it was good play by O'Reilly again, getting in. Vital that he gets in and helps out that sort of defensive midfield role, and he got a good tackle in there, and Campbell just pulling him back and goes into the book. But there was a great run from Kyogo just moments before that, and Hatate picked it up over that inside left channel in his own half, and he looked to hit the diagonal for Kyogo, who made a fantastic run. He can almost slipped when he went to pass it, and the chance was gone.
Strong challenge there by Hatate, but Simikan picks up, plays it down the line looking for Nkunku, doesn't give chase, and it's Jens who has possession over on the far side, the Celtic left. Now it's Taylor. Hatate back to Taylor again, just crossing the halfway line, left hand side for Celtic as they look to advance. Jota looking to try and move away from Simikan, but Simikan read the dummy, tried the Cruyff turn and it didn't come off, and forward now come Leipzig, but it's a heavy pass from Simikan looking for Nkunku. Just looked a little bit disenchanted with the last couple of passes, and here comes Celtic with Abil Gore. Again, it's a straight pass, isn't it, Packy?
Yeah.
And it's given away, but Celtic do win it back, and Maida will come down the right hand side under pressure from Raum, and the ball has crossed the goal line. It will be a goal kick. Comes off Maida last 55 minutes almost on the clock. Leipzig 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, if you're going to hit that straight pass, it's got to be absolutely through the eye of a needle, and it's got to be to a player who can open up and turn and go forward. And if you get it wrong, you're in trouble. I just prefer that ball to be played wide to Maeda, who picked up a good position wide on this right hand side from Applegard.
Celtic pressing high just for the moment. Guardiol back to his goalkeeper, and then out to the right hand side of the penalty area to Orban, who plays it forward for Simikan. It's a good ball, and Jota is caught too far up the park, but Taylor was able to intercept the attempted pass forward from Simikan. It was a poor one actually, and Jota now coming down the left hand side. Good play though by Schlager to win it back, and then Orban for Simikan. Campbell on the halfway line was right of centre, gets it back from Silva, the Slovenian midfielder, plays it square to Raum, and then out to the left hand side for Werner coming forward. Now Soboslai, left hand side. Raum comes forward once more from left back, curls a deep one in. It's a decent looking ball, and Silva wins it, but Nkunku couldn't latch on to the downward header. Hart comes out to collect it. 56 played, Leipzig 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, again the full-back getting on the overlap, and David Rahman putting a decent ball into the back post, and that's the area again they've tried it down Greg Taylor's side with Simikan early in the first half, and this time down the left hand side David Ram's getting himself into good positions.
As I mentioned earlier, Celtic have never won in Germany in 13 attempts prior to tonight. They've only drawn 3 of those, so at the moment they're on course to add to that as the ball's played out from the back. from Blaswich, the German goalkeeper, to Guardiol. Campbell takes over midway inside his own half and plays it square to Orban. Out to the right hand side to Simikan, who just loves getting forward. Plays it into the feet of Werner on the right hand side. Back to Simikan. Cross goes Taylor to close him down. Werner picks up once more midway inside the Celtic half. 1-2 with Silva up to the edge of the penalty area. Now it comes for Sloboslai. Nkunku. Sloboslai once more. That is unbelievable. It's off the post. That was almost a perfect goal from Sloboslai. And he's denied by the upright. Here's Nkunku on the left hand side of the box, looking to fashion the space for a shot. Instead he slips out to Raum on the left hand side, looks to pick out a teammate in there. Silva missed kicks. Abiogor able to get it semi clear, but it comes back to Raum. Now Campbell to the back post where Werner's lurking. Taylor goes out to meet him. Werner tries to get it in, claimed for a handball as he plays the ball into the penalty area. Referee has actually awarded a free kick to Celtic for the challenge on Taylor. If there's any hint of a handball, it will of course be looked at, but Celtic survived. But what a move that was just a moment ago. Sloboslai hitting the upright.
That was a brilliant move. Lovely little give and goes, and that the ball's just come up off the ground and hit Greg. I'm just watching the replay here. I'm not sure if the referee hasn't given it, has he? No, he hasn't stopped it. So yeah, but he had no chance. Greg Taylor just come up off the ground. And I don't think that they would have pulled it back for that. But that was a brilliant, you're right. That was superb play. Lovely give and goes. Little 1-2s round the edge of the box. Sloboslai getting in and Celtic getting off the hook with that one off the post. And really, really good play. This game can go either way, to be perfectly honest. There's goals still in this game.
Oh, you'd think so, yeah. Sloboslai so unlucky. The 1-2s played in and around the edge of the penalty area and he almost finished it off. I did wonder if maybe Nkunku had gone offside slightly earlier in the move, that we wouldn't have learned that until VAR had looked at it had it gone in, but it didn't, as O'Reilly is about to get a yellow card for his challenge in the middle of the park, and that's the first booking for a Celtic player this evening, and it's Guardiol who's the player who's caught.
Nothing in that, absolutely nothing. He's just using his hands to almost shield the player and hold the player back, and it's obviously moved across his face, but he's gone down and ends up getting a booking for it.
Free kick to Leipzig, as Guardiola is absolutely fine, as we suggested he might be. Here is Raum, left hand side for RB Leipzig. Currently 11th in the Bundesliga after an indifferent, at best, start to the season, not only in the Champions League but also domestically. It cost Domenico Tedesco his job, as Campbell picks up now and finds Silva. Angle of the box on the left hand side. Shots blocked there by Maida, picked up by Schlager. Now it's Simikan back into Schlager, 30 yards from goal. Left footed out to Raum at the edge of the penalty area on the left hand side. Poor attempt to get it back across goal, behind for a goal kick. 60 minutes exactly played. RB Leipzig 1, Celtic 1.
David Raum, though, he's getting into great positions down this left hand side. He's almost on the other side of Maeda every single time, and because Werner's playing on the inside left channel, it can almost forcing Juranovic to go in there, and that creates a space for Raum. Oh, is a chance.
Almost given away again at the back by Celtic. It was Hattatia with a poor pass, but now Leipzig have presented it straight to Kyogo at the other end. Not got too much in the way of support right now. He's trying to feed it through for O'Reilly. Maida also in there battling away, and eventually I think he fouls Campbell, and it will be a free kick to Leipzig. It's quickly taken by Campbell, and Werner starts motoring down the left channel up against Juranovic into Nkunku. Good boot in there by Stephen Welsh. Comes though to Sloboslai. He scored! It's a wonderful finish, denied just a moment ago by the upright, but he wasn't missing that time from 20 yards out. Sloboslai arrows it past Joe Hart. Leipzig back in front. It's Leipzig 2, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Werner initially driving forward into the space, but when the ball comes to Sloboslai, he almost drops his shoulder, just go by his man, creates the opening for himself, and just then bends it with pace round Joe Hart. No chance for Joe Hart. Brilliant finish from this young player. He just comes up against Juranovic. You can see it. Stephen Welsh initially gets a toe in, and he just drops his shoulder. I'm trying to see which player. I think it might have been Juranovic who was up, cuts on the inside. No, it was up against Abelgard. and he just drops his shoulder, comes on the inside, and just bends it round Joe Hart with pace. Not a chance.
I'm just wondering if Silva ducks under the ball there, and he's in an offside position. I just wonder if VAR are going to be interested in this.
Maybe so, as you shout. It's a good call, actually.
Yeah, it's been checked, and it just really is about whether VAR believe that Silva was interfering, was playing an active role. He certainly ducked under the ball.
Yeah.
Whether he was obscuring Joe Hart's view at all. They've already had a goal chopped off tonight.
Well, he's in the line of the side of Joe, and listen, it's a good finish. He's going to go over to check it. This could be another goal that VAR actually chalks off, and it'll be a big let off for Celtic if it does happen, because it was a great finish. But he's absolutely in line with Joe Hart, and he does duck, so that is going to have interference with the goalkeeper. And I was wondering why Joe was so far away from him at the end, and he's in a good enough position, Joe. He obviously doesn't see it, it goes past that player. I think the referee has every right maybe to call a free kick here for Celtic.
Well, the home fans are giving it the whistles because they don't like the fact that they believe that the likely outcome here is the referee chops it off, as he did with Christopher Nkunku's initial effort.
Yes, it's off. It's a free kick.
It's offside, and the Celtic fans celebrate again because RB Leipzig have been denied a second goal, and it remains Leipzig 1, Celtic 1.
It's a great spot by you, Al. I didn't actually see that until I seen the replay where the player was standing right in the line of Joe, and the referee's called it. But VAR again playing a huge role in this Champions League, as I already mentioned, in the first half, now in the second half, and last night also. Big goals chalked off.
Yep. It's the right call ultimately, isn't it? As Joe Hart's presented it straight to Szoboszlai, and now Silva's in. Silva in off the post. What has Joe Hart done there? A minute after getting off the hook, Celtic do find themselves 2-1 down. A gift from Joe Hart. Szoboszlai plays in Silva. This time it's in off the upright, and it's Leipzig 2, Celtic 1.
You just cannot take a risk like that from the back, trying to put that ball, as I said, through the eye of a needle, and it's cut out, and they end up then giving away after getting off the hook. Madness, oh my word. He tries, there's no chance he's going to get that ball I think it was Greg Taylor he was trying to pick out, and it was cut out so easily. He doesn't even get it accurate enough, playing with his right foot into midfield, into a midfield position, and it was the trap was set, and he gives it away. Wow.
Well, it's the two players involved in the previous incident, isn't it? Just in the reverse, Silva was the man who was penalised for offside. But this time, it's him that's on the mark, his first goal in the Champions League this season. And Joe Hart having just a dreadful moment of indecision, and the pass was a poor one. And Celtic, having seconds
wide,
ago, been given a lifeline.
Play it into a space, widen the area. If it's cut out at that point in time, then you have a chance to recover. You cannot play it into an inverted fullback position where they're setting the trap with almost three players.
It's a sickener for Celtic and their fans who had just been celebrating. But that one wasn't going to be chopped off. He was well onside as Szoboszlai slotted it through for the Portuguese striker to knock home. Here comes Celtic looking for a second equaliser then. Into the penalty area comes Jota, was trying to get on the end of it, but Orban gets his head to it and knocks it out to the right hand side where Schlager will pick up. But there's been both sides, Packie, you've mentioned it before, they're both so guilty of giving away opportunities to the opposition. Here comes Celtic, it's Kyogo. Position, here comes Celtic, it's Kyogo. He's lost out, and Leipzig trying to come forward on the counter. It's Nkunku. Across the halfway line he comes, plays it forward for Werner. Werner having to stretch there to keep that one in. Nkunku raises the arm in apology, and he has it back, and then it's Campbell on the halfway line. 66 minutes on the clock. Leipzig 2, Celtic 1. Leipzig with 2 goals chopped off for offside, one in either half, but they still have the advantage. Celtic need to come back again if they're to get anything from the game.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the manager, Ange Postecoglou, down there, and he's almost angry, shaking his head, really annoyed after getting off the hook, which was incredible, that VAR had saved him, and then just a moment of absolute madness.
Yeah, Joe Hart, so experienced, and he's been such a good signing for Celtic. He really has steadied the ship, because it was a position that had become a problem for Celtic, but he was immense last season as they regained the Premiership title. But yeah, certainly guilty of an aberration there in conceding that second goal. Here's Nkunku as Leipzig look for a third. It's Rome for Silva.
Oh, he's in again.
Picks out Simikan at the back post. Simikan tries to help it back into the penalty area again. Silva has to come out of the penalty area to retrieve it as Maida looks to close him down. Back it goes to Campbell midway inside the second half. Leipzig 2, Celtic 1. Here's Schlager, the Austrian midfielder. Leipzig enjoying themselves once more as Sloboslai, the really talented Hungarian, picks up. Another exchange of passes in there. Raum gets it out to Silva inside the penalty area he goes. Gets the 1-2 off Sloboslai. Another chance, good save that time from Joe Hart to deny Leipzig a third. And it was Silva again who was close to scoring, but Hart doing his job on that occasion, and remains Leipzig 2, Celtic 1.
Lovely play though, absolutely beautiful little combination of passes round the edge of the box to get in past the Celtic defence, and Joe Hart making up maybe for his mistake on that occasion, making a good save, sticking his foot out and keeping Celtic alive in this game. But you're right, Leipzig look as if they're starting now to enjoy themselves a little bit here. There they go again.
45,228 inside the Red Bull Arena, so pretty close to capacity. And well, the home fans now have refound their voice, having, as I say, been a bit subdued as Celtic had levelled things. But 2-1, the home side leads.
Yeah, I think Celtic will go to the bench now. They'll try and get a bit of fresh legs on. I'm not sure who they have now to maybe come on. Yakimakis might be one, to come on and do that. I don't know if you see anything carried in.
I do indeed. It's Haksabanovic who's getting stripped out just now to come on with just over 20 minutes left.
Yeah, the Montenegrin who started out in Warsaw against Shakhtar, going to be given the opportunity to come on and try and get Celtic back into this, as the ball's back with Blažević, the substitute keeper. Now it's Orban on the right hand side, closed down by Kyogo, looking to try and get the pass down the line. He hasn't been able to. He's gone down though under the challenge of Kyogo, and he's won a free kick which looked pretty soft to me. Kyogo goes and offers him a hand to help him back up, but he didn't need too much contact there to go down.
No, he did not. He looked so nervous at the back. Also Leipzig, and there is more. There's also Leipzig's going to make a couple of changes. That man Forsberg, I talked about him before the game, very experienced player, lots of caps for Sweden. He's going to come onto the pitch.
Yeah, double change, as you say. Werner is coming off to be replaced by Forsberg, and Amadou Haidara is the other player who's going to come on for Kevin Campbell in the midfield before Celtic make the change of their own, which, as Kerdine says, is going to be Sead Haksabanovic. Ange Postecoglou just biding his time before making that change. On comes Haidara to replace Campbell. That's a like for like change in the middle of the park as the Mali international comes on for Campbell. Haksabanovic. Looks like James Forrest as well, Kennedy, maybe?
Yeah, it looks like a double change for Celtic. Haksabanovic ready to come on. He's getting a pep talk from his manager right now, but James Forrest as well, just getting a couple of last minute instructions as well before he comes on.
James Forrest hasn't seen a lot of action, has he, this season? In fact, even last season under Ange Postecoglou, he wasn't a first pick exactly, but Ange Postecoglou has said already that he will continue to be an important player for him, and he'll certainly have the opportunity to come on and try and influence this game. Celtic trailing by 2-1 with about 19 minutes left. Here is Haidara, his first involvement in the game since coming on, runs into Abiogor though, and then back goes Nkunku to win it back for Leipzig. He's done well there, the Frenchman. Abiogor on the deck. Leipzig come forwards through Schlager. Gets it back from Nkunku and out to the left hand side for Raum. That double change still to be made by Celtic. We'll find out who's about to come off. Haidara, it's a slack pass from him. He's very much following in the footsteps of those who have gone before him by giving the ball away. Here's Jota trying to make something of it. Celtic's goal scorer out on the left hand side. Back it goes to Abiogor. Then Jota picks up once more. He's under a bit of pressure and the momentum has rather gone out of that move. He has to go back the way to Welsh. Welsh now forward from the halfway line. Down the right flank he comes. Welsh into the box for Maidan. Not a good touch from the Japanese. And it was good play from Welsh, but he's now caught out of position as Leipzig try to counter. It's Silva down the left. Szoboszlai comes in off the left, away from Abiogor. Can't get the pass to Nkunku though, and that breaks down, and Juranovic able to clear. In steps Raum though, and Haidara will collect midway inside the Celtic half. Schlager back out to Raum. And now it's Forsberg, the substitute. Very experienced Swedish international.
Yeah, I think he's just come on into the middle of the pitch to almost settle the game down, and so that he can actually, kind of manage the game out a little bit, because he'll get on the ball, he's fresh, and he'll just dictate the tempo of the game.
Leipzig still have it, as Celtic still have to wait to make the changes. Forrest and Haksabanovic ready on the touchline, but the ball's not going out of play as Guardiol finds Haidara. And then for Orban, 17 minutes left on the clock. Celtic trail by 2-1. And it's spread out to the left hand side for Szoboszlai by Schlager. Szoboszlai's been really impressive, but he runs into almost a man mountain of Abiogor there, but I don't know why Abiogor stopped.
Yeah, I don't know either. It looked as if he's just ran into him, and obviously it kills the game. They've knocked it out they get a little bit of treatment onto it, but the substitutions are coming for Celtic now. Keradine.
Yeah, Keradine can tell us who's coming off.
Yeah, it looks like O'Reilly. Who's that? It's Jota. Is that Jota coming off? Certainly Haksabanovic coming on. I wonder if it might be the wide player. That's O'Reilly coming off, and Maeda coming off as well. Forrest coming on to replace him with Haksabanovic.
So attacking changes certainly for Celtic. Fresh legs on the flanks, and Haksabanovic looks like he's just going to play in a more central area this evening, Packy.
Yeah, it's an interesting position for him. I haven't seen him play in that position yet, but he's got a little bit of pace about him, whether he'll be able to create something. Obviously James Forrest has gone out to here on the right hand side, which you would expect, just replacing Maeda out here.
James Forrest played in the 2-1 win at Celtic Park over Leipzig back in 2018. He and Callum McGregor, the only survivors from that period. As Guardiola picks up from his keeper and plays it down the left for Raum. Quarter of an hour left, Celtic 2-1 down. Here's Forsberg attacking, tries to slip it through, and Nkunku and Szoboszlai getting each other's way, and Hart's able to come off his line and get the ball away to safety. But it almost looked like Nkunku and Szoboszlai got each other's road as they tried to fasten on to the pass, and the chance was gone, and Haksabanovic is able to pick up and fires it out from right to left. Good take from Jota, edge of the box on the left hand side, coming in on the right foot, gets the shot, and it's not a good one. Easy take for Blažević, and it remains Leipzig 2, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Forsberg that time getting himself into all sorts of space in that sort of almost number 10 position, and when he played through, there was 2-3 players running right through the middle of Celtic's back two players. Joe Hart did extremely well to read it and get out and intercept the ball, because there was a certain goal if he hesitated 1 second, they were in trouble, Celtic. But they're still in this game, there's still going to be an opportunity for them.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you, the way it's gone. 14 minutes left for them to find a leveller, at least. As they've got a throw in on this near side. Here's Forrest into Juranovic. That pass is cut out though by Schlager, and forward comes Nkunku, who's been quieter in the second half, thankfully for Celtic, albeit he was involved in some of the intricate passing that led to...
Oh, what a pass though.
Oh, that's a brilliant pass. And it's a good chance for Andre Silva! That is a wonderful goal from Leipzig. The brilliant pass out
to the right hand side for Simakan, and he laid it on a plate for Silva's second goal of the night. And does that put it beyond Celtic? It's Leipzig 3, Celtic 1.
Oh, what a pass. You just said he was quiet in the second half. He just picks the ball up on the left hand side, just about over the halfway line, and he has a magnificent crossfield pass to that man Simakan, who's bombing forward. He just volleys it across and allowed Silva to take a touch and just play it past Joe Hart. Wonderful goal, I've got to say, from Leipzig to almost probably put themselves in a commanding position now to win this game. But that man Simakan getting himself forward again down that right hand side. He's been doing it all night, and a lovely, at this stage of the game too, controlled volley across the 6-yard box to lay it on a plate for his teammate Andrea Silva to score.
Yeah, well, Andre Silva hadn't really been among the goals so far this season, just a couple, and they came in the cup against a fourth tier opposition, but he's got a couple this evening against Celtic to make it 3-1, and it was a lovely first touch from the Portuguese before slotting it past Joe Hart from close range. But Nkunku really playing his part there, also Simakan with the ball across goal. It was a wonderfully engineered goal and well finished by Andre Silva for his fourth goal of the campaign and second of the night. And you have to wonder now whether there's any possible way back in the game for Celtic.
No, but they've been their own architects here of defeat with that unbelievable mistake from Joe Hart when they were got off the hook, and they were in a good position at one each just to consolidate for that 4 or 5 minutes and then just build into the game again, and then they just give the ball away, and that then they're chasing the game after that. That's the problem.
Guardiola has it at the back. Salzburg have gone a goal up against Dinamo Zagreb. That's the first goal in that game. As Forsberg tries to pick out Nkunku, couldn't quite do so though, as Taylor manages to force it down the left flank for Jota. But Leipzig very much on top now.
Yeah, and again those substitutions, I'd say, but Forsberg coming on, just able to almost pick up with his fresh legs in those little spaces, in those gaps, and they're able to find him, and he's just dictating the play. The left back is down. He's had an unbelievable left back bombing forward. He's down with cramp, which I'm not surprised, David Room, and that he's been getting forward all in the second half and creating problems for Celtic.
A couple of changes coming for Leipzig, Erden.
A couple of changes for Celtic as well, because I can see McCarthy getting stripped. Looks like Giakoumakis might be coming on as well. So Celtic having to go for obviously 2 goals down, 10 minutes to go. Looks like the manager's going to make another couple of changes. Yep, there's Giorgos Giakoumakis, number 7, getting ready to come on, and James McCarthy, I can see just peering from underneath the Celtic dugout. He'll be coming on shortly as well. Here he is.
Yeah, and I think Tati probably will be the one that'll go off. Again, it's that time of the game that he's kind of almost running out of steam, and he'll probably go on for him, and that's where. And Kyogo, I would say Giakoumakis will replace Kyogo up front, unless he goes with the 2 up front.
Raum's going to have to come off here. He's going to be replaced by Halstenberg. Marcel Halstenberg will come on for the closing stages, as well as Josef Poulsen, the Dane, who missed the weekend through illness, but back able to take part in the closing 10 minutes or so. Halstenberg for Raum, and just wait to see who Poulsen will replace. It's Soboslai, who I think we've both been impressed with tonight, Paki.
Sorry, who's that?
Soboslai.
Oh yeah, very good, very good player, Soboslai. Excellent, picking up good positions, running with the ball. And then that sort of almost finish that he has, he had his goal disallowed, but what a good finish it was. So, and again, look at the 2 that have come off the bench, really experienced players, Poulsen and Hasenberg, the left back, been around this club for quite a while.
Yeah, Giakoumakis is on. He's replaced
Kyogo, just a change up front. And McCarthy also on for Hatate, I think he called that, Packy.
Yeah, well, it's that time of the game that they kind of almost, get tired. They lose their ability on the ball and they're closing down, and you have to almost, you know that you've got to replace them at one point in the game, and the players coming off the bench needs to be ready.
Celtic have it. McCarthy trying to force it down the right hand side. 8 minutes left here. Leipzig 3, Celtic 1. Throw into Celtic, flicked on by Giacomakis. Halstenberg with his first touch. Forsberg's challenged well there by McCarthy. Celtic come forward. If they could get a goal now, it would make for an interesting final few minutes. Jota in off the left hand side, away from Simikan, but forced back the way. And Abiel Gore picks up, but Leipzig have got players back now. They've managed this second half a lot better. Taylor might just have gone offside, no flag yet as Simikan tries to make the challenge. And it will be a corner kick to Celtic over on the far side, the Celtic left.
Yeah, he just looked as if he was offside, Greg Taylor, whether to pull it back, but he's taken a quick short corner.
Yeah, Jota has it, left hand side, closed down by Haidara. Sent into the penalty area. Simikan's there, comes to Jota though, still inside the box, lays it off for McCarthy. Wonderful disguised pass. Taylor into the middle, comes off a shoulder almost of, I think it was Orban, and in behind for another Celtic corner. Bit of pressure here for Ange Postecoglou's side. Can they make it pay?
Well, they need something very quickly off this. They're going to maybe take it in their short corner. I've tried to get it in there and get a bit of movement. Obligard is a
Haksabanovic sends it in right footed all the way to the back post to Jota, edge of the penalty area. Reverse pass for Taylor. Taylor back to Jota once more. Flights it back into the edge of the box. Headed away by Forsberg before Giacomakis can make anything of it. It's out now with Haksabanovic. Flicks it over the head of Simikan in this Celtic right. Then tries to get away from Simikan. Thought he was pulled down there actually by the fullback, but the referee says no, just a goal kick. And Simikan celebrates with the fans, gets them back on their feet, and it remains with 6 minutes left of the 90. Leipzig 3, Celtic 1.
Yeah, they were in good positions there, Celtic just didn't get that ball into the box, into that sort of golden zone to get people in and across defenders to try to get a chance on goal, and that, so time's running out on them, I'm afraid. If I go back to the almost, unfortunately for Joe, that second goal changes the game completely.
Celtic heading for a 29th defeat on the road in the Champions League in 35 games. It's a pretty unenviable record. Such a difficult level to play at, of course, but they need to be picking up points if they're to have hopes of progressing. Here comes Poulsen. Strong challenge at the edge of the box, but Welsh got enough of the ball for the referee's liking as Celtic try and get the ball clear. Poulsen just slowly picking himself up as Forrest comes forward for Celtic, tries to get it all the way across to Haksabanovic. Giacomakis actually has been penalised for his challenge on Haidara in there, and it will be a Leipzig free kick midway inside their own half. And I think it's just feel that the game's just really just running away from Celtic.
It is, yeah. I think it's Simikan is down injured. He's had an exceptional game, I've got to say, especially getting forward, and that obviously third goal. He was played a major part in it, but he's just killing off the time now. He's down. I think the referee's not going to allow him to get treatment, but it just kills the tempo of the game.
Yeah, back on his feet, and again, he'll be fine, but he has had a terrific game, mostly going forward, you'd have to say. Modern fullbacks tend to like to attack more than defend, and certainly he's done that to good effect as the free kick is taken for Guardiola to Haidara. Forward by Schlager, down the left hand side, straight out of play though, and Celtic will have the throw in, about 10 yards inside their own half. 3.5 minutes left of the 90 plus added on time. Celtic need 2 goals and quickly. The Silva double in the second half looks to have killed off their hopes of taking anything home with them. Jota trying to get on the end of Taylor's ball forwards. Well defended though by Orban, and Simikan picks up and again comes forward down that right hand side, but he's lost out to Haksabanovic, but Haksabanovic is penalised and it'll be a free kick to Leipzig just inside their own half out on the right. Leipzig 3, Celtic 1. 3 minutes to play. Simikan again taking his time to get up, eventually he does. Free kick's taken, Schlager back to Orban. Now Leipzig are in no particular hurry to move the ball forward. Poulsen though gets it out to the left hand side to his fellow substitute Halstenberg. That's cool play by Nkunku, great skill, and
he looks a class act, doesn't he?
He really is, isn't he?
Yeah, really, really good. He knows when the ball comes to him, he knows exactly what he's going to do with it, and he's got then the technical skill and the ability and the pace and all of those other things to turn himself into going to be a really class act.
Yeah. Here is Forsberg, the substitute, into Haidara, and the home fans rejoicing around the Red Bull Arena. Celtic fans still making a bit of noise across there, but it looks like they're going to watch another defeat from their side on a Champions League away night. 2 home games to come, and they both really are now must-win games. Like at home to Leipzig and then Shakhtar at the end of the month. Leipzig have it inside their own penalty area. It's Guardiola out to this left-hand side to Halstenberg up to the halfway line. Forrest is back there, manages to get something on it, but Poulsen picks up, and now it's Forsberg away from Jens. Jens with a good challenge, but Forsberg still holds on to possession. Now it's Schlager about 35 yards from goal, slips it forward for Silva. Silva out to the right hand side, Taylor's with him. The Portuguese slides it back in for Forsberg, now forward for Nkunku, right hand side of the penalty area. Leipzig looking for a 4th goal before the 90 minutes are out. It's Halstenberg on the edge of the penalty area, leaves it to Schlager and out to the left for Haidara. Haidara now into the penalty area, left hand side, clips it in, saved by Hart. It was Forsberg with a shot there, and then Silva tries, and the rebound is not behind off Taylor, and it's a corner, and it's 3-1 Leipzig.
Yeah, they should have scored. Joe again stood up, and the ball almost hits him as he moves back across his goal. Hits his arm, his forearm, but he stayed big and makes a vital save. And they've had a number of chances now that they could have probably scored a few more.
Forsberg across the right hand side, the 30-year-old to take this corner. Right footed, low ball, it's a poor one. Forrest gets it away as far as Haidara. I think Forsberg was offside there, yet the flag goes up as the ball went back out to him. Hadn't got back the pitch after taking a corner. It'll be a Celtic free kick. We're inside the final minute of the 90 though, and they trail by 3-1. 2 second half goals from Andre Silva look like they will be enough to win it for RB Leipzig and give them their first points in Group F and give them the chance potentially to progress. 5 minutes will be added on at the end, and we are just ticking into those right now. Remember, Real Madrid take on Shakhtar Donetsk in the other game in the group, kicking off pretty shortly as Giacomakis does well to win it from Guardiola. The two still coming together. Guardiola wins it back off the Greek and then tries to play it off him. He does do successfully, out for a throw-in in this near side, the Leipzig left, and it does look very much like they're going to see it out pretty comfortably, Packy, in the end.
Yeah, they are, and Celtics just ran out of steam and just haven't really created enough in the second half, but I still go back to the goal. When you give it away at this level, you can't afford to do it. It's really difficult then.
Here's Schlager coming forward inside his own half still, but plays it out to the right hand side. Simikan looking for the run of Nkunku. Is he quick enough to get onto it? No, Jens is there before him, concedes the corner, and it will be a Leipzig corner kick on the right hand side. Good defending by Jens on that occasion.
Yeah, showed a little nice turn of pace actually to get back and intercept that ball, because it looked ominous again, I've got to say.
No real rush here from Forsberg as the home fans are already celebrating victory.
Yes, listen, it's so vital this game kicking off later that Real Madrid won it and gives Celtic a chance maybe in the next 2 games at home.
Forsberg's corner, right-footed into the penalty area, falls to Nkunku, tries to find room for the shot, crowded out in the end though. Celtic come away through. Giacomakis plays it forward for Jota, who's taken down and wins the side a free kick. We're deep into stoppage time. Celtic trailing by 3-1. They were level through Jota, really excellent equaliser they scored, but they have been picked off by Leipzig in the second half as Schlager plays it infield to Haidara, forward for Nkunku, back to Haidara, now it's Forsberg, slips it looking for Silva, who's on a hat-trick. He can't keep a hold of the ball though. They have won it back, and it's Poulsen in the edge of the penalty area, trying to get onto the right foot, plays a low ball in, hacked away out of the Celtic penalty area. Guardiola will gather on the halfway line, just knocks it back to his goalkeeper Blažević, who Celtic haven't really tested other than that equaliser, as I mentioned. Paki Blažević hasn't had too much to do.
No, not in the second half. Definitely not in the second half. But when you look and actually analyse the game, probably Celtic's best chances came from Leipzig giving the ball away themselves, and then Celtic actually go and do the same, which is incredible.
Yeah, a rare error, it has to be said, from Joe Hart.
Yeah, he's been good for Celtic and really, really good. And he's made some big saves here tonight also. But that fundamental error though has cost him. And again, it's about risk, and you just cannot risk the ball in those positions.
Here's Halstenberg on the left hand side, cuts it back for Forsberg, edge of the penalty area, onto the left foot, drives it low past the post. On the far side of Joe Hart's left hand post, always going wide as soon as it left the boot of Forsberg. Another opportunity though, but it does remain. Leipzig 3, Celtic 1.
Yeah, just looking at Stephen Welsh too, he is really struggling to keep going in this game. I know it's coming to an end, but he's hobbling around. It's been a big demand for the two of them at the back up against the players, those really good players. And Nkunku and Szoboszlai, Forsberg coming on, Timo Werner, all quality players.
Yeah, it's been another example tonight of just how difficult it is to take any points for Scottish clubs in this competition. Celtic was just the one, Rangers with none after 3 games each. It's been tough. Here comes Celtic though. It's Forrest, completely misses his kick on the edge of the penalty area as a chance to try and pull one back. Forsberg thought he was fouled as he looked to pick up possession. Nothing given. Celtic come forward once more. It's Juranovic on the right hand side, back to McCarthy. Infield it goes to Abildgaard. Can't get the pass away though. It's cut out by Schlager, and then back with Haidara as Leipzig look to break late on and perhaps snatch another goal. It's forward for Nkunku. Out to the left hand side he comes, Frenchman. Back it goes though to Forsberg. They're just running down the clock now really, as the seconds tick towards the 5th and final minute of injury time is almost up. As Forsberg slots it through, Silva is on a hat-trick. He looks to find Poulsen, it was just ahead of Poulsen, and that's the last action of the game. It has been a big effort for Celtic, but yet again it's not enough. And they leave Germany for the 14th time without a victory, without a point on this occasion. They were level through Jota early in the second half. A wonderful goal after a pass from Hatate to Kyogo and a brilliant layoff from the Japanese for Jota. But that was as good as it got for Celtic. Szoboszlai hit the post just before the hour mark, before Silva had the ball in the net and was ruled offside. It's the second goal Red Bull RB Leipzig had ruled offside, but the respite didn't last long as Joe Hart presented the ball straight to Szoboszlai in the edge of the box. He played in Silva, and that was 2-1 to Leipzig. Silva got a third for the German side 13 minutes before the end. A wonderful move, and Nkunku out to Simikan. First time ball in, and the Portuguese striker took one touch before burying it past Joe Hart, who had been beaten in the first half by Nkunku. The Jota goal did give Celtic hope for a period, but unfortunately the story is a pretty common one for Celtic.
It's an away defeat in the Champions League. They leave the Red Bull Arena with nothing. It finishes here in Leipzig. RB Leipzig 3, Celtic 1.